This is where we celebrate literature and have been for the past 16 years now. Tonight, we celebrate the brave souls who turned coffee into chapters, midnight musings into manuscripts, and somehow we all made it here without any typos. What an amazing 3 days it has been. We couldn't have started off on a better note than with a Booker Prize winning author and a Nobel laureate. And then our Cracker River debate, book launches, poetry sessions, workshops, performances, and packed auditoriums. Like in the film, it's been everything, everywhere, all at once, to borrow from the title. Thank you to our super supportive audience, all of you, for supporting us year after year after year. Any festival is only as good as its audiences, and you all have been absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much. We've laughed. We've cried along with the stories and poems we've heard. We've heard about predictions for the future, and we've been nostalgic about times past. We've heard explosive, impassioned statements and quotable one-liners. Overall, we've had a blast. And to go out with a bang, what better way than to honor and award some of our best talents in the literary world, new blood and seasoned veterans. But before we start the awards, I'd like to call a leader of agri-green dreams and chemical art, nurturing nature while playing his part. Please welcome the visionary, the rare twin of science and soul, Mr. Nadir Godrej, whose vision and verse together unfold. Chairperson, Godrej Industries Group, Mr. Nadir Godrej, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a time we had at the Lit Fest. Each new one seems like the best. Each time we fill the Tata Theatre, I'm sure Anil Dharkar, our creator, is smiling from up above, showering us with his love. The team, Amy and Kwasa, have brought us all very far. A session with science and art, right at the very start, to explore truth and trust. Conspiracy theories can bust, confidence in what is right. How indeed should we fight? Venki, our scientist, is bent on performing a proper experiment. Shahan joked that fiction's a lie, but all the same he likes to try to let the readers themselves explore and not put his own thoughts at the fore. For Christian, logical science has its place, but with strong emotions, it's a different space. Truth, of course, is always best, but not everything can be put to the test. Tarini Mohan showed true grit. Everyone around did their bit. Pritam shared what he went through. We got many insights that were new. No matter what the hurt or pain, through inclusion, there's much to gain. And then we went to applaud the winner of the Poet Laureate Award. He mixes the surreal with ancient tradition and weaves an elegant transition. Some global thought with Bharti roots, springing forth glorious shoots. He joked that laurel leaves would seem not quite as apt as Limdo or Neem. And then we had the great debate of the Hindi Chini bye-bye fate. Of all the ups as well as downs, the rare smile and many frowns. The audience finally voted nay, but with the great ideas, could we find a way for India and China to reach accommodation, the first and second most populous nation? With the help of Tharoor and Chandrachud, our constitution was well understood. The entertaining discussion covered a wide range, including how to bring about change. When Parliament couldn't succeed, sometimes the court could take the lead. The good life warmed our heart. The Hamid family played a major part. Soha and Jim read very well, but Jerry held us under a spell. At each question, he would pace on the stage, as though he was released from a cage. Vigorously, he would elucidate. His performance was truly great. Face questions helped to achieve the goal, but Jerry's exuberance made her doubt her role. Not only should we alleviate pain, but a normal life is the real gain. that with every patient we should share. That is the true purpose of palliative care. 18 short stories in one book. And in it, when we take a look, Mumbai suddenly comes alive. The session was full of verve and drive. Literature Live can enthrall. Everyone enjoyed it all. For this great team, let us cheer. They'll reach new heights again next year. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Godrej. You are always ever so lyrical and inspirational. Thank you. I would now like to take this opportunity to thank the most steadfast and enduring friends of this festival, the Godrej Industries Group, NCPA, and Florentry, without whom a festival of this scale wouldn't be possible. I would now like to call upon co-director of Literature Live, the Mumbai Lit Fest, Kwasar, to say a few words, please.
Thank you, Meher, and thank you, everyone. Mr. Godrej, we were going to make a rap film at some point, of the whole festival. No need now. We'll just play the poem. But good evening, everyone. And what? Oh, there we go. What a lovely way to end the festival. To celebrate some new books and some great books from last year, which is what we are all gathered here for. But it's also been a great 3 days of literature lovers and literature creators coming together to celebrate the love of the written word. Personally, I'm looking forward to a week off where I can rest the blisters on my feet from walking around this huge campus, and also the paper cuts from all the books I have browsed. But my favorite image for this edition was the number of people who were reading while they were standing in a queue waiting to get in. It surprised me on two fronts. One, there are queues for literary events. And secondly, people are reading hard copy books. What could be a better testament for the need of us book nerds to have a festival that celebrates our love? We've had over 15,000 people wandering on and around campus at some point or the other, attending sessions, exchanging books, questioning authors, and getting books signed. We owe a huge thank you to the Godrej Industries Group for helping us create this book oasis. It's a book oasis where the weary minds of the city can come and replenish themselves. And thank you to the NCPA for giving us such a lovely spaces to inhabit and pack to capacity. And a huge thank you to Florentry, our new partners, who we have planted a book seed and hopefully will now grow. When we came up with the maximum slogan for the year, little did we think it would apply to everything that happened. It's been a marvelous 3 days with first-time poets reading their work and poets doing things for the first time, like their work being set to music, with people launching their first books and some people like Shobha Day launching their 28th. We've had writers as young as 12 and people as senior as our poet laureate Sitanshu Yashas Chandra. Our first award of this evening is actually the Godrej Literature Live Award for Lifetime Achievement. And it goes to Vinod Kumar Shukla. Vinodji is a much-loved presence in the literary fraternity and the literary firmament. But before we get on with the presentation, we have a short film that celebrates the man and his work.
उनकी एक पंक्ति है, सब कुछ होना बचा रहेगा उसके न होने में। हमारी खुद समझ में नहीं आई शुरू में ये पंक्ति, नहीं होने में होना बचा रहेगा, ये क्या पंक्ति है। बाद में सोचते सोचते समझ में आया कि जो नहीं हुआ है उसका होना तब तक बचा रहेगा जब तक वो हो नहीं जाएगा।
विनोद कुमार शुक्ल जी के बारे में मुझे जहाँ तक अनुभव ऐसा लगता है कि वो जीते हैं और लिखते हैं। उनका जितना भी लिखा है वो दरअसल जिया हुआ है।
More than anything, it's just the way he puts together his words and the way he will take you through a journey and then just be like, this is what it is.
And what he seemed to be doing was to simply describe and chronicle the day-to-day of very ordinary people in very ordinary settings.
It's very funny, this balance he finds between realism and the magic. You know, so there are two worlds which are coexisting: the real world, where we participate, and yet there's a world of our imagination, which is full of magic, which is full of possibilities. And I think he moves from one to the other so easily.
और इन सब के साथ एक जो सरलता होती है, सिंप्लिसिटी, कि वो बहुत सारे लोगों को वो समझ में आ जाए।
बहुत गहरी और मर्मभेदी भाषा उनके पास है। विनोद कुमार शुक्ल की भाषा के बारे में जो आज बात होती है कि वो कुछ अजीबो गरीब ढंग से लिखते हैं, वो आज से नहीं लिखते, वो आज से 70 बरस पहले से लिखते हैं। उनकी शुरुआत ही ऐसी भाषा और ऐसे इमेजेस से हुई थी।
हमारे हिंदी में मतलब जितनी मेरी लिमिटेड समझ है, वो पहले आदमी थे जिन्होंने विधा से ही जो है प्रयोग किया।
He seems to not care for the usual devices that most writers use, the literary devices. And by that I mean similes, metaphors, certain kinds of sentence construction. For example, the involved sentence construction. He seems to eschew these somewhat, you might say, ornamental aspects of writing.
मैं जब उनसे मिला था तो मैंने उनसे सबसे पहला सवाल यही पूछा था कि कैसे आपके दिमाग में आया कि सेंटेंस का कंस्ट्रक्शन ऐसा होना चाहिए कि हाथी जा रहा है, उसके पीछे उनकी उस हाथी की खाली जगह छूटती चली जा रही है। ये कैसे आया? ये तो कभी नहीं था।
ये अवार्ड भी और आप भी दोनों मेरे लिए मतलब सौभाग्य का विषय है कि एक दूसरे को आप लोग मिल रहे हैं।
विनोद कुमार शुक्ला जी को ये जो पुरस्कार मिल रहा है लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट अवार्ड का एट मुंबई लिटरेचर लाइव, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं।
सबसे ज़्यादा मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी कि शुक्रिया, आप लिखते रहे।
Because of him, I am writing, and because of him, there are a lot of people who are writing.
Heartiest congratulations once more, Mr. Shukla, on this award, and may you continue to inspire writers in their hundreds and their thousands.
मैं तो उनको शुरू से उनकी हर पंक्ति पर बधाई देता रहा हूँ। तो लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट अवार्ड के लिए तो मुझे लग रहा है कि जैसे वो उनको क्या मिला हो, पूरे हिंदी साहित्य को मिला हो।
Before we present, I would just like to read the citation that Rohit Manchanda has written on behalf of the festival for Vinod Kumar Shukla. What strikes you most forcibly on reading Vinod Kumar Shukla's work is that you just can't place him, figure him out. There is one thing, the near absence of time-tested literary devices in writing, especially the dramatic and showy amongst them. The language is simple to the point of being stark, austere. You also find yourself asking, what is he writing about and why? For it appears often that if he's writing about nothing at all, and for no particular reason, and yet, whether it's fiction or his poetry, you find yourself inexorably drawn in. The very qualities that seem to epitomize nothingness mesmerize you, leaving you hankering after more. Simplicity is Shukla's singular forte. When he eschews contrivances such as similes or metaphors, it's as if to say, what's the point of such bagatelles? When he does deploy them, he's usually dull, wry, such as when he writes, 6 in the morning was like 6 in the morning, or the people I met on the way were like the people one meets on the way. It's as if he's taking the mickey. You can picture him slyly chuckling at those who strain for effect, for the too picturesque likeness or analogy, while he revels in the subversive tautologies with which he's answered them. The what of Shukla's writing has been just as beguilingly simple as the how. While novelists and poets at large were preoccupying themselves with the momentous themes of the day, geopolitics, nationhood, history, social and personal dysfunction and travail, Shukla persisted in chronicling the hyper-ordinary, the hyper-local, the hyper-quotidian. All in all, the minutiae of the lives we live out, not the grand narratives that direct them. The act of simply being, not its metaphysical trappings. Likewise, he has never dealt in certitudes. His currency has always been ingenious bewilderment, coupled to an often hilarious zaniness, as in his poem, Samudra Mein Jahan Doob Raha Tha Surya. For these reasons and others, Shukla has remained something of an outlier in the world of literature, a maverick, an impression reinforced by his steadfast reclusiveness. Living in the small city of Raipur, Chhattisgarh, loath to give interviews, cut off from the glitzy currents of world literature, he has been quietly and unostentatiously writing books with titles as maverick as his persona. There's Diwar mein ek khidki rehti thi. There's Vah aadmi chala gaya naya garam coat pehenkar vichar ki tarah. And yet, through his sorcery, the ordinary in his hands remains ordinary no more. He has the rare gift of exalting the everyday to the plane of the remarkable. For the reader, that exaltation is hard won. Usually the only way to decode a story of his or a poem, although written in the simplest possible register, is paradoxically to read it again and again. You often reach the end of a Shukla poem or a story thinking there's a certain something or there's a lot there that you just didn't get. Something of great import is being said here, but it's occult, camouflaged by the lulling simplicity. To access it, you'll have to delve a good bit deeper. And that's where the rereading starts, once, twice, over again, until eventually the kernel reveals itself. Through these and kindred attributes of his writing, Shukla has spurred a great many writers to ponder more deeply questions to do with their métier, questions of form, theme, purpose, diction, and most weightily perhaps, honesty and candor in one's writing. In so doing, he has gone beyond just adding one or the other canon. He has brought about for many radical shifts in their foundational notions of literary craft, renovating and revivifying a literature sometimes fettered by its own reigning vogues. And by staying true to his resolve that the universe is wholly immanent in the local and the individual. Shukla has won both of India's highest literary awards, the Sahitya Akademi Award in 1999 and the Jnanpith Award for 2024. As also in 2023, the PEN Nabokov for Lifetime Achievement in Literature. To this splendid array, we have the honor to add the Godrej Literature Live Lifetime Achievement Award, which today we confer upon Vinod Kumar Shukla in deep admiration, gratitude, and regard. May I please ask Amy Fernandez, co-director of Literature Live, and Mr. Nadir Godrej to please come up onto stage to present the award. Mr. Shukla, unfortunately, was unable to be with us here today, but he has sent a message and a family member, a very dear family member, Devendra Mishra ji, to accept the word on his behalf, to accept the award on his behalf. Devendra ji.
नमस्कार। यहाँ उपस्थित सभी मान्यवरों को मैं नमस्कार करता हूँ। दादा को आप सब श्री विनोद कुमार शुक्ल के नाम से जानते हैं और हम सब उन्हें दादा कहते हैं। अस्वस्थता की वजह से दादा आज यहाँ नहीं आ पाए और न ही उनके बेटे शाश्वत ही यहाँ आ पाए। दादा की बेटी विचारदर्शिनी से मेरा विवाह करीब 28 वर्ष पहले हुआ और तब से मैंने अपने आप को बहुत सी नई रचनात्मकताओं के बीच पाया। इस शहर मुंबई में मैं कई बार आता जाता हूँ अपने काम की वजह से, लेकिन इस बार रचनात्मकता ने मुझे यहाँ खींच लाया है और यह सब बहुत सुखद है। दादा का पूरा जीवन रचनात्मकता का केंद्र रहा है। वे कहते हैं प्रकृति सबसे बड़ी आविष्कारक है और मनुष्य उसका सबसे बड़ा आविष्कार। आज यहाँ आप सब और मुंबई की हवा, समुद्र, पेड़, पौधे, आसपास के पहाड़, ये सब रचनात्मक कृतियाँ ही तो हैं। अभी मैं ऐसे शहर में हूँ जो कभी सोता नहीं। ऐसा कहते हैं कि मुंबई कभी सोता नहीं, पर दादा अभी सो रहे होंगे रायपुर में अपने घर पे। सूर्य के उदय होने से पहले के सुनहरे उजाले के साथ उनकी शुरुआत होती है दिन की और करीब 6 साढ़े 6 बजे शाम को वे सो जाते हैं। दादा का हर क्षण रचनात्मक होता है, यहाँ तक कि जब वे सोते होते हैं तब भी। कई बार यूँ होता है जब वे सो रहे होते हैं, अचानक नींद खुल जाती है, उठकर वे आवाज़ लगाते हैं और जो भी कोई आसपास हो वो उनके पास पहुंचता है और उससे वे कुछ शब्द लिखने के लिए कहते हैं और पास रखे हुए कोई कागज़ या पैड पर वो व्यक्ति वो शब्द, वो कुछ वाक्य लिख देता है और फिर वो सो जाते हैं। अगली सुबह फिर वो उठकर उसको टटोलते हैं, देखते हैं जो कुछ शब्द लिखे गए और उन्हीं वाक्यों को आगे पंक्तियों में रचते चले जाते हैं। कुछ वही कुछ शब्द कविता बन जाते हैं, कुछ कहानियाँ और कुछ अन्य रूप ले लेते हैं। दादा ने जो आज के इस कार्यक्रम के लिए कहा उसे मैं आज फिर दोहरा रहा हूँ एक बार फिर से। लिखना अपनी बात कहने, अपनी अभिव्यक्ति को खोजने की एक कोशिश है। इस अभिव्यक्ति की खोज में हम प्रतीकों, बिंबों और रूपकों का सहारा लेते हैं। यदि हम अच्छा पढ़ते हैं तभी आगे बढ़ते हैं। इसलिए यह ज़रूरी है कि हम अपने मूल स्वर को पहचानें और उसी की ओर बार बार लौटें। मेरे लिए अंतिम सत्य यही है कि लिखने की शुरुआत कविता से हुई और अंत भी कविता से ही होगा। गोदरेज लिटरेचर लाइव 2025 लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट अवार्ड के लिए मैं आप सबको धन्यवाद देता हूँ। दादा के साथ, उनकी रचनाओं के साथ रहकर मैं यह महसूस करता रहा हूँ कि ज़्यादा रचनात्मक होकर ज़्यादा संवेदनशील हुआ जा सकता है। जीवन यथार्थ में हमेशा ज़्यादा कठोर होता है। कल्पना उस जीवन में एक उम्मीद की तरह होती है। दादा कहते हैं कि उम्मीद में एक बहुत बड़ी ताकत है, बहुत बड़ी शक्ति है। इस भागम भाग के बीच हम अभी यहाँ हैं, यह उसी उम्मीद का हिस्सा है। कविता, कहानी और रचनात्मकता के बीच रहने का। दादा की एक छोटी सी कविता के साथ मैं अपनी बात को विराम दूंगा। कविता का शीर्षक है सबके साथ। सबके साथ हो गया हूं, अपने पैरों से नहीं, सबके पैरों से चल रहा हूं। सबके साथ हो गया हूं, अपने पैरों से नहीं, सबके पैरों से चल रहा हूं। अपनी आंखों से नहीं, सबकी आंखों से देख रहा हूं। जागता हूं तो सबकी नींद से, सोता हूं तो सबकी नींद में। मैं अकेला नहीं, मुझ में लोगों की भीड़ इकट्ठी है। मुझे ढूंढो मत, मैं सब लोग हो चुका हूं। मैं सबके मिल जाने के बाद आखिर में मिलूंगा, या नहीं मिल पाया तो मेरे बदले किसी और से मिल लेना। धन्यवाद।
सर, इस बहुत ही खूबसूरत और भावपूर्ण कविता के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Godrej, Amy and Kwasar. Moving the evening forward now onto our second award. Our founder Anil Dharkar used to say, without publishers there would be no books. Without good publishers there'd be no good books. And helping to bring out some of the best new written material to eager readers is what our next winners do best. The second award of the evening is the Godrej Literature Live 2025 Publisher of the Year. May I first please call on stage the convener of the Godrej Literature Live 2025 Awards, Tina Nagpal, to say a few words about the award evening itself. Tina.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. At the heart of every great society lies its stories and the people who labor to tell them authentically. Writing is in many ways an act of quiet courage, a pursuit of truth, imagination, and clarity that shapes how we see ourselves and our world. The Godrej Literature Live Literary Awards were born of the belief that excellence in writing deserves to be celebrated and championed. Each year, we receive close to 200 books across fiction, non-fiction, and business writing. Reading through them is both a joy and responsibility, a labor of love that asks us to engage deeply with the range and richness of India's literary landscape. Of course, awards are only as good as their juries. We were fortunate to have eminent members of juries across all categories, readers and thinkers who approached the task with rigor, care, and an extraordinary commitment. Over 3 months, they read a long list of books, ensuring that every work had its moment of consideration, that every voice was heard. The shortlists and winners you will hear tonight represent a remarkable spectrum of ideas and writing styles. We hope that you will seek them out, read them, and let them live with you. So thank you to the writers, the publishers, and our tireless jury for your vital contributions. And to you, our readers, for reminding us once again why words have the power to move, to transform, and to endure, and be maximum. To kick us off for this next award, let me speak a little bit about it. The Godrej Literature Live Publisher of the Year Award is an award that celebrates consistent excellence in publishing across all genres and forms. To present and announce this award, I would like to invite Amy Fernandez, co-director of Literature Live, the Mumbai Lit Fest, to join me on stage to present the award. The Godrej Literature Live Publisher of the Year 2025 award goes to Penguin Random House, India.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, we are truly grateful for this honor and sincerely express our thanks to the organizer and everyone. I think on front it looks very easy, but I think it's months and months of hard work and sincere dedication to make a platform for our authors, for everyone who are coming here and enjoying every sessions. It's beautiful. I think as a publisher, we wait every year for the Mumbai Literary Festival to happen, because it gives opportunities to our authors like Amrita Male or Justice D.Y. Chandrachud or Rupa Kudwa. And what a way to close the night and get this recognition. We are very thankful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Amy and Tina, and congratulations to Penguin Random House India for that award. Santosh Desai, at the launch of his book Memes for Mummy Ji, said, "Earlier, we used to be identified by the way we made money. Now we are recognized by how we spend it." Now, on to our third award for the evening, the Godrej Literature Live 2025 Business Book of the Year. But first, let's meet the jury for the award before we announce the winners. Philanthropy and social impact leader and SVP India partner, Alka Puri. Fintech and regulatory strategist and policy advisor, Bhaskar Das Gupta. Banking strategist and business consultant, ING, Kavita Hari. Investment banking leader, CEO, Moelis India, Manisha Girotra. Journalist, columnist, editor, CEO, IMBX, Sitaraman Shankar. I would now like to invite on stage Executive Chairman at Florentree Advisors and co-founder of Deep Tech Fund, Yali Capital, Mr. Matthew Syriac, to please say a few words.
Good evening, all. It's a real pleasure to be here, part of the 16th edition of Mumbai Lit Fest. We run a private equity firm, and some of you may be thinking, what is a private equity person doing at Lit Fest? Maybe he lost his way off the Lal Street or something. That is not true. We are really here for a purpose, supporting Amy and Q and the really energetic team of Mumbai Lit Fest. And we at Florentree are very privileged to be being a key sponsor, and I'm personally thrilled to be part of this award function as well. Business books are a very peculiar genre. They promise a lot of wisdom, sometimes strategy, sometimes execution tools, and quite often a lot of humor and sometimes big entertainment as well. As you know, there are several large blockbuster movies coming out of business books. Let me ask you, what's the difference between a thriller and a business book? In a business book, or rather in a thriller, you're kind of wondering, the suspense is who dies, right? In a business book, quite often, the legend kind of lives on. And in this case, there are 3 fantastic books that have been shortlisted. All of them, in some sense, some kind of biographies. One is that of a great institution, Reserve Bank of India. The other is a legend, Mr. Ratan Tata. And the third is another legendary institution and some crazy investment managers, which is SoftBank. So without further ado, let me kind of get the team to announce the winner for the award.
And to announce the award, may I please request the members of the Business Book of the Year jury, Alka Puri and Manisha Girotra, to read out the shortlist and present the award. Sir, please stay on stage.
Good evening. When Amy invited me to be a jury on business books, I gently reminded her that I had moved from the world of business to the world of philanthropy. And she said that doesn't matter. You can enter, you can still be a jury on the basis of your background. So I was full of trepidation because I'm a book lover and I read a lot of books, but business books are few and far between. So I felt like a startup entrepreneur and said, let me see abhi aage kya hoga. But I must say that the whole team of the Lit Life Fest, at least the ones that we interacted with, it was such an enjoyable process. The kind of books that they had put together, I did not realize that business books would have such a wide variety. And also the entire organization of the process. We were all in different parts of the world, and to be able to get us the books on time, to constantly check if we needed anything, and to bring us together while allowing us our individual points of view, and yet weaving us together at some point to bring forth our points of our various perspectives. So I must say I appreciate business books a lot more now. And thank you, the entire team, for making it such an enjoyable process for us. So the shortlist for this year is A Fly on the RBI Wall, An Insider's View of the Central Bank by Alpana Kilawala by Rupa Publications. The second book is about a man we all have admired, Ratan Tata, A Life by Thomas Matthew, by HarperCollins Publishers. And the third book is The Money Trap, Grand Fortunes and Lost Illusions Inside the Tech Bubble by Alok Sama of Pan Macmillan, India. So I'll request Manisha to talk.
Thank you, Alka. 14 books later, under the hawkish guidance of Tina Nagpal. When I say hawkish guidance, it was a lot more than guidance. It was like rough beating. So here we are, and I'm delighted to announce the winner is The Money Trap by Alok Sama. Just a few words on the book. The book is an insightful read on the seductive world of finance to which Matthew and I belong. The author actually uses real-life incidents to show how the relentless pursuit of capital can actually lead to wrongdoings, can lead to actual systemic risks and volatility in the system. But what's really specially endearing for those on the book, which I encourage all of you to read, is the self-reflective and self-effacing style of writing. The author actually uses personal anecdotes and personal experiences to demonstrate how wrong things can go, and that actually helps transcend the book from the world of finance into for readers who actually don't have anything to do with finance. My mother-in-law, for example, loved the book. My vote didn't come because of that reason, I assure you, but it is a must-read. So congratulations once more, and we look forward to Alok Sama and his creative writing courses giving us more books to read. Congratulations.
May I please request Antoine Lewis, our programming director at Literature Live, the Mumbai Lit Fest, to please collect the award on Alok's behalf. Thank you so much to the jury for their hard work, and Mr. Syriac and Ms. Puri and Ms. Girotra for presenting the award. And congratulations to Alok for the award. Shehan Karunatilakar said at his session booked, "If I ever doubt, thinking, do I need to tell this story, I realize nobody will tell it like I will." And now, on to the fourth award of the evening, the Godrej Literature Live 2025 First Book Fiction. I would like to start by introducing the fiction jury: poet, translator, author, and activist Akhil Katyal, author and editor Anil Menon, theatre artist, casting director, and author Dolly Thakur, poet, translator, author, and academician K. Srilata, communications professional and associate festival director, Literature Live, the Mumbai Lit Fest, Shireen Mistry. I would now like to invite the presenters of the award, Dolly Thakur and Akhil Katyal, from the jury.
I love the sound of my own voice, but I shan't go on for all of you. The Godrej Literature Live 2025 Award for Best First Book Fiction, and the nominees are Hot Water by Bhavika Govil. It's a HarperCollins Publishers Limited. The second is The Dead Know Nothing by Kishore Ram. Penguin Random House, India. And the third is The Fertile Earth by Rutrika Rao. Again, Penguin Roundhouse, India. I have had a whale of a time in these last 2 months, 3 months, reading these books. A lot of them were books that taught me a great deal. I'd never heard of the writers, they were all new, but I am amazed at how much writing and how much imagination and how much good work is going on. Thank you, Literature Live.
I'll say a little bit about the book. You just heard the words of Vinod Kumar Shukla saying, "Yadi hum acha padhte hain, to aage badhte hain." And this book, one of these, in fact, all three in many respects, but one of these was precisely that book. Over the 2 weeks that I spent reading it, there were some of the most confident and beautiful sentences I've read in a debut book by an author. At the level of the page, it was intricate. At the level of its scope, it was ambitious. One of the things that I noticed that the way it created characters and its life worlds, you know that there was an absolute rigor of craft at work, but even more so, and perhaps even a greater rigor of empathy at work. Every page you turned, you knew that years of historical research has taken place, years of narrative labor has taken place, but it all comes alchemically together. And finally, I think one of the things that will stay with me for a long, long time, and it's going to be one of those books, it confronted head-on this, this naked wire in the subcontinent, this primary fault line on which so much of our society turns, that of caste, its eventual and everyday violences. The book, of course, is Rutvika Rao's The Fertile Earth. Congratulations.
May I please get a representative from Penguin Random House to collect the award on her behalf? Thank you so much to the jury for their hard work, and thank you, Dolly Thakur and Mr. Katyal, for presenting the award, and congratulations to Rutvika Rao. In the great debate that we had on the very first day, Sandeep Unithan, one of the panelists, trying to make a point, said, our debate topic, of course, was India and China must be friends. So to drive his point home, he said, India is the toast in China's toaster, and the coffee beans in their grinder. And now on to the fifth award of the evening, the Godrej Literature Live 2025, first book, non-fiction. But first, let's get to know the non-fiction jury. Economist, academician, and public commentator Ajit Ranade. Journalist, columnist, editor, and author Ayaz Memon. Sociologist, author, and former UN official Jean de Cunha. Journalist, editor, and author Nirupama Subramaniam. Filmmaker and associate festival director, Literature Live, the Mumbai Lit Fest, Tina Nagpal. I would now like to call upon members of the jury, Jean de Cunha and Ayaz Memon, to please read out the shortlist and present the award.
Thank you. We've had to do some very heavy lifting since we were part of the jury, including the non-fiction, not the debut book, but the other book. And I think after a little powwow over both sides of lunch on one fine October afternoon here in India, but for Tina it was somewhere in the middle of the night in the US, we've reached certain conclusions. And this is for the debut book. And in the shortlist are Rama Bhima Soma, Cultural Investigations into Modern Karnataka by Srikar Raghavan, Westland Books. The Lost Heer, Women in Colonial Punjab by Harleen Singh, Penguin Random House, India. And The Lucky Ones, a memoir, Zara Chaudhary, Westland Books. And Jean will announce the winner and tell you why we chose it.
And the winner is The Lucky Ones, a memoir by Zara Chaudhary. Well, good evening, everyone. I really wish to thank the Lit Live Festival for inviting us to be part of this jury. I have been invited to provide a few reflections on this book. It's been an extremely exhilarating experience reading 24 books, and the two dominant themes that emerged were ecological stewardship and climate change, for one, and identity politics, the other. Very interesting and very encouraging. Part of this exhilarating experience was the absolutely spectacular quality of the books, one better than the other, and I landed up having ties in both categories. Just a few words on the award for the debut book. Well, this is a very compelling piece, The Lucky Ones by Zara Chowdhury. It's a memoir, framed by the concept the personal is political, and weaving together diverse threads on a multiplicity of themes very seamlessly, very deftly, but profoundly focusing on the 2002 communal violence in Gujarat. And the author here looks at and highlights the appalling sense of a lack of accountability. She traces the immediate causes of the violence, but also locates it historically, going back to the divide and rule policy of the British, the partition, the enduring impacts on families, including her own, on both sides of the divide. What was very gripping was the author's detailing of that raw terror and insecurity and violence that affected not just her own family, but also others in the Muslim community from her station, from her socio-economic political location. But she very sensitively turns to poorer communities in nearby bastis, in peri-urban sites, details their coping strategies, and also highlights the power of women, courageous legal battles that were fought by women in their quest for justice. And just when you're at the edge of your seat, wondering whether they were really the lucky ones and would or would not they be ferreted out and butchered, she turns her critical gaze, her irreverent gaze, internally to her home, positing that equation or that relationship between religious identity and patriarchy, and she critiques and interrogates the harmful patriarchal and religious practices in her own family, and this is seen through the lens of a young woman. This memoir, I would say, really excels in the way it's handled complexity, in the way it's handled shades of gray, whether it is Hindu-Muslim solidarity or Hindu-Muslim tragedy, the way she's come to grips with the complexities in the relationship with her parents or their personalities. Her father, at one level, a tyrant, but as she also says, he has a deep sense of compassion, kindness, fragility residing in him. Her mother, who appears to be submissive, but also marshals all her resources and is that silent strength that comes to her, the fore, the silent resilience that she brings to the family and is really the prop and pillar of the family. The complex relationships between the women in the family, the bonding as well as the tensions, including between women employers and the domestic worker. And in pulling this all together, she draws on a vast array of sources and styles, very masterfully synthesized. So you have eyewitness accounts, you have historical accounts, you have legal records, you have media reports, in stylish elegance in terms of written form, where it's largely straightforward narrative, but very evocative vocabulary and language, and in parts also combined with lyrical prose and a great deal of poetic sensitivity. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say that this was a riveting book. It was a page turner, like many of the books in the selection that we read. Thank you so much.
May I please request a representative from Westland Publishing to collect the award on the winner's behalf. Thank you to the jury for going through all those books, and to Mrs. Degunia and Mr. Memon for presenting the award, and congratulations to Zara Chaudhry. Today, at his session Between Somewhere and Everywhere, Jeet Thayil said, "The first thing and the most difficult thing that an Indian fiction writer should do is to stop thinking about what your uncles and aunties are going to say and just stay true to your story." There were a lot of zingers in that session, and it was fantastic, just like a lot of the other sessions. And that brings us to the sixth and penultimate award of the evening, the Godrej Literature Live 2025 Book of the Year, Fiction. To read out the shortlist and present the award, I would like to invite members of the jury, Shireen Mistry and Anil Menon, to please join me on stage.
We just decided the winner.
It was a difficult choice. All the books were fascinating, and they represented years of experienced novelists distilling their talent and their experience and their research into really quite unforgettable literature. The shortlist for the Godrej Literature Live 2025 Awards for Book of the Year Fiction. The nominees are Island by Sujit Saraf, published by Speaking Tiger. Rising Suns by Kaveri Nambisan, published by Penguin Random House India. And The Last Knot by Shabir Ahmed Mir, Pan Macmillan India. And Anil will tell you who the winner is.
The winner is Sujit Saraf for Island. Congratulations, Sujit. Tina has asked me to say a few words on behalf of the jury about how we selected the award winner. And it was a very sophisticated and rigorous process. We had a dartboard. And Akhil had an unfair advantage because he could throw faster than the others. Jokes aside. We met, we discussed, we argued, we talked, we read, we again met, and finally we picked. It's a very difficult decision. But in the end, the consensus was reasonably easy to arrive at. We loved all the books. This is not a horse race. But one book we would like to mark Saraf's book for special recognition. It's for originality of topic. It is set in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. It's an interesting character. It's a character that I have not met in fiction before, and other jury members, I think, felt the same way. The novel captured an entire world in a couple of 100 pages. This is a novel, we feel, which will be remembered as achieving what fiction is perhaps all about. Great writing that helps us feel what characters feel, appreciate the complexity of their inner lives. In short, with ink on paper or pixels on a screen, create human beings. Congratulations, Saraf.
Unfortunately, Sujit Saraf cannot be with us this evening, so I please request Reena Agarwal from our Committee on Literature Live, the Mumbai Lit Fest, to please collect the award on their behalf. Thank you so much, Shireen, Anil, and Reena for that. And congratulations to the winner, Sujit Saraf. Our Nobel laureate speaker, Venki Ramakrishnan, in his book, Why We Die, and at his session, Forevermore, said, "Our brains appear to have evolved a protection mechanism by thinking death as something that happens to other people. not ourselves. And now on to the seventh and ultimate award of the evening, the Godrej Literature Live 2025 Book of the Year Fiction, for which I would like to invite members of the jury, Nirupama Subramaniam and Ajit Ranade, to please read out the shortlist.
Good evening, folks. I have the pleasure of reading the shortlist. The shortlist for Godrej Literature Live 2025 Awards for Book of the Year, Non-Fiction. The nominees are Golwalkar, The Myth Behind the Man, by Dhirendra K. Jha, by Simon & Schuster. The second is The Identity Project by Rahul Bhatia, Westland Books. And the third nominee is The Undying Light by Gopal Krishna Gandhi, Aleph Book Company.
I'll just go right ahead and announce the winner. So the winner is Dhirendra Jha for Golwalkar, The Myth Behind the Man Behind the Machine. Yeah. So I'll say a few words about the book. It's a book about our times, really. And Dhirendra Jha has shone a much-needed light on the man revered by the RSS as Guruji, man who led the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh for more than 30 years, from 1940, taking over the organization after the death of its founder, K.B. Hedgewar. In this compelling biography, Mr. Jha has drawn a very astute psychological and political portrait of a man who had a very complex, complicated personality, and the RSS's own complicated relationship with him. It's, I know this word is a cliche, but it's truly an unputdownable book. I read it in one shot. Mr. Jha has drawn from several sources, and especially from Golwalkar's own book that he wrote in 1939, and whose authorship is now denied, but Mr. Jha has shown that it cannot be denied, and that book is called We or Our Nationhood Defined. It goes to the credit of Mr. Jha that he has not allowed his deep research and the material that he has unearthed to overwhelm his writing. The book shines with his journalistic flair and is engagingly and accessibly written. That's very important for a biography. Many biographies are tomes that, that become more or less reference books that you read a few pages of when you want to know something. But this is readable from start to finish. Golwalkar was published in 2024, a year before the 100th anniversary of the founding of the RSS, which the organization celebrated a couple of months ago. But its importance does not lie just in its timeliness. Mr. Jha's book is important because it makes us aware, as citizens of this country, of how Golwalkar shaped and defined the credo of the RSS, expanded its reach across the country, and its role before and after partition. It's important that as citizens we know all this, because members of the RSS now run the government and they run the country, and it is important because it tells us about the person who both former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have cited as their ideological inspiration. As such, all these three books were that we had on the shortlist. They were very good. They were really good, and but we didn't have any doubt in our minds that Mr. Jha's book should win this prize. So, Mr. Jha, congratulations again. Will you like to come up on stage?
May I please invite Mr. Godrej to come and present the award to Mr. Jha. Sir, please come and say a few words.
Well, thank you. Thank you, jury, for recognizing my work and bestowing me with such an honor. I, in fact, felt honored when I saw my name in the same list as Rahul Bhatia and Gopal Gandhi. This book would not have been possible had I not received help from several individuals, and I thank all of them. One of them is very much here in the audience. Shruti Devi is not just a brilliant literary agent, she is also a very powerful editor. Thank you, Shruti. I'm basically a journalist, not a writer. And in 2014, when RSS captured power through Modi and BJP, I shifted my focus to archival journalism. This book came out of archival journalism. Before writing this book, I wrote several pieces related to the life and activities and thoughts and lies of Golwalkar for Caravan magazine. But yes, those pieces were not enough to convey the entire story. That is why I decided to write this book, which is here in front of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to the jury for their hard work. And thanks to Ms. Subramaniam and Mr. Ranade and Mr. Godrej for presenting the award. And congratulations, Sir, Mr. Jha, for the award this evening. And that brings us to the end of yet another sparkling chapter of the bestseller called Literature Live 2025, the Mumbai Lit Fest. I look forward to seeing you all back here at the NCPA for the edition marked 2026. Now, we already have the dates, so that's happening on October 30th and 31st and November 1st, 2026. So you can bookmark your calendars for that already. Literature Live 2025, the Mumbai Lit Fest, is grateful to be presented by Godrej Industries Group and to be in association with the NCPA. We are also thankful that the festival was powered by Florintree. Now, F. Scott Fitzgerald, the author of our book in focus this year, The Great Gatsby, which celebrated a century, said, "That is part of the beauty of all literature. You discover that your longings are universal longings and that you're not lonely and isolated from anyone. You belong." Good night, good luck, and happy reading. See you all back here in 2026.